This is the Hot Toys figure of Thor from the movie Avengers Infinity War. To say this was a highly anticipated figure for me would be an understatement. I've been dreaming of owning a Thor from Infinity War, which for me is one of the best Marvel cinematic movies ever. There's just so many cool scenes, especially with Thor. I'm really not a person who cheers or claps in a movie theater when someone comes on screen, but the filmmakers created such an overwhelming anticipation in the moments leading to Thor's grand arrival in Wakanda that when he finally appeared, you couldn't but feel that sense of strong emotion come over you. It helped that my friends and most of the people in the packed screening I was in was just as excited as I was. Having said that, this representation of Thor looks just as spectacular as his cinematic appearance. And that's of course including the top-notch job of the head sculpt. Besides Tony Stark, aka Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth's face is something that Hot Toys has been nailing. They haven't made as many Thor faces as Stark faces, but the quality is once again present, as it should be. If I had any nitpicks, it would be the hair. It's not exactly the way Thor had it in Infinity War. It was a bit more flatter, and it's from a similar sculpt as the Thor Ragnarok figure design. Speaking of which, I think the head is overall better compared to that one. There are some very slight changes to the head, specifically the temple areas, giving this version of Thor a fuller shape. The eyes have a special feature in that they contain what Hot Toys calls a luminous reflective effect. Basically, when you shine UV light against the eyes, they light up, and it absolutely looks spectacular. I think they really work given the context of the effects. Aside from the bluish glowing eyes which look both eerie and amazing, the UV light of course gives a violet color to everything else. It very much looks like the color is an after effect coming from the glow of the eyes or even the lightning accessory effects on the chest. My one gripe is that you have to use a UV flashlight. I know, I'm lazy, but I would really like to see the effect integrated to the figure itself, maybe using batteries next time. If I'm honest, this was the one feature where I had the most concern and was expecting it to look really terrible. And not being a fan of effects period, I wasn't expecting much. But this was done well and really needs to be seen in person to fully get an idea of the scope of the effect. This definitely should be how the figure looks all the time. Another area where the light-up features are used well are in the torso, which we'll get to soon. The torso is covered by this hard plastic vest-like armor that's detailed well with intricate lines and some smooth and deep outlines and curves. There are also 6 circular plates which vary in size. They can be removed so you can place lightning effects on them. The arms are covered in this material to make it appear like a tight but heavy chainmail in a gunmetal gray color. When I saw initial pictures of their arm, I was afraid that they might ship easily, but that's not the case here, since it's a very sturdy material. At the ends of the wrists are leather-like wraps which, like the rest of the figure, are detailed well. Thor's pants are made to look like leather and look pretty cool, with detailed areas including the knee guards, and some distinctive patterns across the inner thighs and outer thighs. They kind of remind me of utility pants or biker pants. He also has some hard plastic shin guards that rise from the feet all the way up to nearly his knees. His boots are a bit glossy but match the rest of the outfit well. A red and black cape drapes over the figure, giving Thor a grand and dramatic look. Since that exterior blood red cape gives a really exceptional contrast to Thor's dark outfit. I kind of wish the whole cape was red to give the bright and dark colors more distinction. There are some small details found throughout the red material with black sketch-like lines along the outer edges, giving the cape a more interesting and nuanced look. But what I really like about this cape is how layered and meticulously arranged it is, giving it a more refined and regal look. And that's in due part because of the many folds and pleats which are found throughout both sides of the cape. The figure has decent articulation with the main constraints found along the torso. Even though the figure has a collar that reaches nearly to the lower part of the head can move to the side and up and down. The arms have a good range of motion with ratchet ball socket arms, ratchet double jointed elbows, and peg-swiveled hands. You can't really do all that much with the torso since it's fully covered in the vest. You can slightly turn the torso to the side and back and forth, but that's about it. The legs are a bit better, but you really want to be careful since the pants are made out of a softer material that seems like it can tear if you really stretch out the legs. You can shift the legs slightly to the side and bend the knees. You're given a lot of latitude with the feet since they are on ball joints, and you could lift the shin guards to provide more room to articulate them. Accessories include an alternate pair of arms, chest plates, and neck armor, all of which allows you to modify the look of the figure so that he looks like the version of the character at the beginning of Infinity War. The arms are a very spongy type of material that's very bendable and detailed quite well, with some very tiny details from the hairs across his forearm to the clear definition of muscles and veins that pop out very realistically through the arm. Like the chainmail arms, these arms are very flexible and look great on him. So much in fact that I'm really liking this look, even though it was something that I really didn't care for in the movie initially. These arms are probably going to be an underappreciated accessory given the entirety of what you're getting with this figure, but something you should not overlook, especially if you're into this version of Thor. To complete the look, Hot Toys gives you 2 eye patches to cover his right eye. Magnets are used to attach the patches to the surface of his skin. It's actually pretty easy once you get the patch in the correct position. I'm not really a fan of this look with a patch, and I'm really not sure why they give you 2 with slightly different designs. The one with the gold outline is the one that is featured in both Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Infinity War. Thor comes with a total of 4 pairs of hands. A pair of slightly open hands, a pair of open hands, a pair of fists, and a pair of hands to hold the mighty Stormbreaker. It's the axe that spells doom for the universe's greatest threat. The weapon, especially the blade and the pole, look awesome, with a lustrous finish ingrained with lines and writings and filled with an array of textures. There are some inconsistencies with the axe, most notably with the handle, which is given a more detailed make with a configuration of wraps found across portions of the axe. My guess is that Hot Toys were working with earlier draft mock-ups of Stormbreaker before the filmmakers decided the final look of the weapon. Nevertheless, this just screams master craftsmanship, and it better be given what this thing is made to do, or should I say, supposed to do. Stormbreaker is an absolute marvel of a weapon to behold and is a fitting and formidable weapon for the God of Thunder. Not to be outdone are the remaining effects, which consist of 6 electrified bolts that stream out of the circular holes from the vest. This is done by removing each of the plates, then placing the effects in the corresponding areas. A switch on the back of the figure activates all the lights, giving Thor an electrifying look that's both brilliantly bright and strikingly designed with a multitude of lightning arcs flowing outward. If you've been with my channel for a while, you know that I generally do not like effects, but these effects look pretty solid and amazing, and better yet, they also react to UV light, giving the light on the chest and Thor's eyes a dynamic and dramatic look. It's an outstanding look that really is amplified by the UV lights. You're also given 2 lightning chains to be placed around Thor's wrists, which amplify the look of an electrified Thor. Rounding out the accessories is this stellar Avengers Infinity War stand that's moderately colored using some nice soft color tones against a sharp stenciled letter A and the obligatory wording Marvel Avengers Infinity War. More importantly, the stand comes with this pretty tall and very articulate arm that really works well if you want to have Thor running or flying. Finally, the packaging of the Hot Toys figure includes an awesome cover that not only shows a cosmic and ethereal Thor against a field of stars, but incorporates lightning effects when you shine light against the surface. Hot Toys did a bang-up job with this Thor figure. It's a nice contrast to what's come before with the very moderate but effective colors, and a design that harkens back to both classic looks of the God of Thunder to the modern designs that we've come to expect from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The figure is a good mix of class and edge, striking the balance between Thor's mighty gear to the electrifying effects which bolt the God of Thunder to new, unexpected heights. I'm Otaku Surf, and I'll see you around.